I just can't get away from a good time.
Hey Cruise Team, welcome back. This is Coach, your host Brad. And anyway, John HEALD's going to be talking to you in just a few seconds. He dropped a big news dump today, and I edited it down to about 20 minutes to save you about 10 to 12 minutes in time, and also gave you the summary of what he would be talking about in each segment. So that's going to be coming to you right now.
Lives, it hasn't gone away. And this is why, of course, we are still asking the crew members to wear their masks. And I still get daily comments about this. Why are the crew wearing the mask? So let me quickly reiterate for you that the reason we're doing this is, again, all the cruise lines are having their crew members wear a mask, and that is because it's not only required, but also it protects them because COVID is still around. Now, you take, for example, the crew members you come into contact most, your waiter, your cabin steward. If we said now, take masks off, you don't have to wear them indoors, and they did so, because COVID is still around, because it's still part of our lives, they would then have to quarantine. Now, as Christine mentioned in her video the other day, we do still test every crew member at least once every 2 weeks. So if they don't wear their masks, they have to quarantine. And if they're on a gratuity enhanced position, that's again reminding you that every crew member receives a salary. The waiters and cabin stewards and bar staff example, they have their salary compensated with the incredible kindness that you show them. They would have to spend the quarantine time inside the cabin, which is why they still have to wear a mask. COVID is still very much part of our lives. That's why, again, we're asking everybody to test. If you do test positive after a cruise, no need to call us or contact us. Just take good care of yourselves and maybe tell those around. Now, I also get asked every day, mostly respectfully, occasionally not, why we have not opened the cruising to those who are not fully vaccinated. I'm not going to go through all the reasons again why. I think we've said this enough, that people who have fully vaccinated themselves have less chance of having serious illness or hospitalization. Situation with Bermuda. For those of you who are cruising on the following cruises: on the Carnival Legend, Sunday, May 22nd, on the Carnival Magic, Thursday, May 26th, Carnival Magic, Thursday, June 16th, and Sunday, Carnival Legend, on June the 19th. Those 4 cruises on for May and June on Legend and Magic. You will, I'm afraid, need to complete the online registration on behalf of the Bermudan government and pay the $40. We have, as an industry, and it's not just us, it's every cruise line, have been working with the Bermudan government to try and negotiate away from this actual fee, but it's not been something that the industry has been successful in. So many of you ask, do I need to complete the form even if I am not going into Bermuda? And the answer is yes. And if you don't, it will hold you up at embarkation because you'd have to do it there. It's not our rule. It's not something that we want, and we realize the extra bit of frustration that comes with that. But I wanted to make sure that we were clear, and you will, for those people on those cruises, in the next 24 hours, receive an email. If you book through a wonderful travel agent, you can, of course, check with them. We will be adding something to the prohibited list, and that is the drone. Now, I know there are some very experienced drone pilots out there, but there are many, many more unexperienced ones. And unfortunately, we have been asked to put this on the prohibited list. You were never allowed to fly it while you were on the ship, but you were allowed to take them ashore into a few of the ports. There have been some incidences recently where these drones have caused problems. And we also had one recently that a drone pilot crashed very close to the ship while being in one of the ports. This then causes all sorts of problems and paperwork and environmental stuff, which is one of our very top priorities. So very sadly, I'm afraid for us, and I believe other cruise lines as well, we are not allowing drones to be brought onto the ship, I'm afraid. And again, for those of you I see asking about Bermuda, you must complete the form even if you have no intention of getting off the ship. So that's just covering the drones. And at the moment, for those of you who are cruising or going to be cruising this year on Carnival Pride, at the moment, as you know, to get back into the United States, regardless if you're a citizen or not, you must have a negative COVID test 24 hours before you arrive back into the United States. And I have previously posted the links that you can get at the airports in the United Kingdom and in Barcelona. But most of you are concerned about Dover because it's quite a long trip to Heathrow Airport. So this is still something that will apply, and you can get your test at Heathrow Airport. However, I have asked my colleagues over the last couple of weeks if we can do anything else. And for all the cruises, and there are quite a few of them sailing out of the port of Dover, which is just over there, there will be testing done on the morning of embarkation in the terminal. We will have a company come to the terminal. They will give you a COVID test. It's called a fit to fly. It's a rapid antigen test. And the results come back in 10 minutes. And then, of course, that's good for you to fly. Now, there will be a charge. The money is going directly to them, not to us. So there is a charge for that. And you can book this test on board the ship, right? You won't be able to do it before. You'll book it on board. The people on board, guest services, will send a note to your cabin and they will tell you how to book that test. There will be a charge. I don't know exactly what it is just yet. But there will be a charge, but that's just another way for you to get this return to the United States test done. And obviously our hopes are that the government of the US will drop this in the weeks ahead, so not all of you will be affected by it. But again, if you're sailing out of the port of Dover, when you return, you can book a rapid antigen fit to fly test on board. You go off the gangway and debarkation starts around 6 o'clock in the morning in the UK. And then you will go into the terminal. There will be a testing facility there and you can book that on board, not online. It can only be done on board for you there. I don't have any about Rome, about the ports that we use in Rome, which of course is shitty. The port near Rome, hold on, let me become Italian. I'll be right back. Because we are docking in Civitavecchia. Yeah, and at the moment there is no testing at the pier, but at the Rome airport there are many testing facilities you can use. I asked the big man, Jean, to post the link today for you. Because. Thank you, Fabio. At Rome Airport, there are testing facilities. I'll use Uncle Google and I will get you the link for that. And I'll put all of this together sometime today. So give me a few. I was going to surprise lots of people on board Carnival Pride because tomorrow I was going to fly to Barcelona and join the Pride for a few days for their cruise in Europe. Sadly, I am unable to do so. One of the reasons is I do have a pretty awful head cold. The symptoms are as usual cold. So I didn't really feel like up to flying and I had to cancel my ticket today. Also, I need to be home at the moment. There are some things very close to home that I need to take care of. I can't really say too much, just, stuff that I need to take care of. So I couldn't be too far away at the moment. So my plans for that have been scuppered. I'm so sorry. I really did want to be there. I hadn't told anybody I was going. It was going to be a bit of a surprise. But there you go. It's sad that I can't be there. I am going to be cruising at the end of June, and unless something terrible happens, I will be going. Now I'm going to choose a ship, and obviously when I choose the different ships, I try and think what's relevant and what's current, and certainly being out in Europe would have been. And I will definitely join Pride at some point during the European season, and share those experiences and show you all how brilliant European cruising is. Remember, Carnival Pride is sailing around the Mediterranean, the British Isles, Greece, Turkey, and so much more next year as well. I am going to be sailing, though, on a cruise on June 25th, and I have chosen the Carnival Vista from Texas. Now, the reason I've chosen the Vista is I often get told you only sail from Miami ships, which isn't true, because I was in California and I've already done a ship out of Texas. And sometime this year, I have to do one from New Orleans. I will be doing Carnival Ecstasy on October the 10th. But I've chosen this one because Vista has been in a bit of social media at the moment, as you know. We had a situation that was affecting the maximum speed of the ship by a few knots, which meant a few itinerary changes. But I thought it would be good for me to go to Vista just to show you that the ship is providing the guests with so much fun. It really is. So on June the 25th, if you haven't booked a cruise and you think, you know what, I'd like to sail with you, John, it's a 7-night cruise, which is going to Montego Bay, Grand Cayman, and Cozumel. And I will be there for that particular cruise. That's the June the 25th cruise. And I very much look forward to doing that. And hopefully some of you are already on it. And if you haven't, book away. And I will look forward to seeing you there. And I will begin my walkies. The elephant in the room. No, that's me in a mirror. No, not that elephant. Another one. Because I have answered, along with my colleague Jacinta, we've answered hundreds of questions about the information that we sent out with the changes to the Diamond and Platinum Party, the closure at dinner of the Cucina and Chef's Table. And of course, this is all to do with, again, reiterating what our wonderful president, Christine, said on her video, which is still available on my page, and I hope you will take the time to look. Now, this all comes from the problem that we've had with the State Department and visas. That's well known. And while some of you may post to me saying that's an excuse, it really isn't. And I do want to mention something about that in a second. But for the Diamond and Platinum Party, which is on pause between now and the end of June, you are getting your complimentary drinks, and this is going to be not in paper form. It's going to be a credit on your Sail and Sign account, and you can use it at any time at any bar. So that's for the drink replacement for Diamond and Platinum guests. It'll be a credit on your Sail and Sign account, and you can use it at any time, at any bar once it's posted. And you'll have at least a couple of days to be able to choose when you collect those drinks. Now, I wanted to mention something about this because hopefully this will explain. Let me just first of all read a post from Kevin. Somebody whose name begins with K. Since you're cutting back on restaurants, VIFP parties, diamond parties, and other things, why don't you cut 1 or 2 ships so you can fully staff other ships? Then start up other ships when you have staff. Oh, wait, must be a money thing. Shocker. All right, so a couple of things. First of all, again, as Christine mentions, we have reduced capacity on some of the ships to allow the spreading of staff and helping the larger ships with their staffing issues. So we are not running all of our ships at capacity. You also need to understand, if I can, to the people who are asking me this question, and it's not something you would know offhand, so this is one of the reasons I wanted to explain. When we started to put full capacity on the ships, which we did because you wanted to cruise, because the demand was there from all of our guests, we didn't have these issues because we had a full complement on each ship. That was 6, 7, 8, and 9 months ago. Don't forget, we're going to be welcoming our 2 millionth guest at some point this week. 2 million of you will have cruised with us since the restart. That's extraordinary. But those crew members, each ship was fully staffed. But then their contracts came to an end. It was time for them to go back to their families and spend a couple of months on vacation, which of course they truly deserve. We have offered a chance for some of the crew members to extend their contracts. Many of them have done that so they can continue to support their families. But some are going home on vacation. The ones who are waiting, and there are hundreds of crew members who are waiting to come back and join us, they can't get their visas at the moment because the State Department of the United States have a backlog in visa issuing. Every crew member has to have a visa to get through immigration at the airport before they even get to the ship. And that's why things are challenging, not just for us, but right across the cruise industry. Some ships, some cruise lines have cancelled cruises. Some have bumped people from cruises, guests, because of these staffing issues. And we absolutely do not want to do this. So to those of you who think that we're continuing to book our ships to maximum on every single ship, that's not correct. And to those of you who think that we're just not doing anything about it, you're absolutely wrong. We want to welcome these crew members back. They cannot wait. They cannot wait to come back and serve and entertain you. And we are working very closely with our friends at the United States State Department on finding some shortcuts in order to make this happen. And that is why we've only cancelled these events for the next 5 weeks, for the last week of May, all right, 6 weeks, until the end of June, when hopefully this particular concern that we and other cruise lines have as well will cease to be. And I just hope that gives you a little further explanation as to what Christine has said and to why things are the way they are at the moment. Cucina is closed. We are going to give complimentary you some choices of the great Cucina dishes in the dining room at dinner. And yes, some of these staff shortages may mean that you have to wait an extra 20 minutes at brunch or an extra 10 minutes to get a drink. Occasionally, not all the time, occasionally. But don't think for a second that you're going to come off that ship thinking the service was awful, because it won't be. It'll still be fun. It'll still be mostly absolutely brilliant. And for your patience through all of this, I have to say an absolutely huge thank you, because I know 99% of you totally understand. I checked online and there was no option for Americans for jobs like chefs, waiters, bar staff, steward, etc. Now that I think about it, the only Americans I've ever seen working on a ship are a couple of cruise directors. Is there something Carnival has against Americans working for them now when they need them most? Put the price of the cruise up, say 10% if you have to cover the wage. Hire Americans who do not need a visa. You will get better service for your passengers and everyone is happy. Take a vote on that, John, and see that this is the answer. So let me just say very clearly, the staff shortages again are because of the visa situation. We do pay, of course, I'm not going to go into salaries and all stuff, but crew members all receive a salary. Yes, a lot of them are compensated, waiters, cabin stewards, bar, etc., by the gratuities. And every single position, we are absolutely at the very top of diversity. And every single position on board the ship is open to every nationality, including all of my American friends. Why don't we see them as chefs and waiters and bar staff? Probably the same reason you don't see any Brits for the very most part. It's hard work. Living on a ship is not easy these days. It's really not. And it's extremely hard work. Let's make no bones about that. But if you're an American watching this and you want to apply, apply, because you are not going to be turned away because of your nationality. It's just not true. Now, also, as for putting up the prices 10% and hiring all Americans, I really don't think that is something that we would all want. I don't mean as a company, I mean the people watching this. Something to talk about in the future. I really do. Thank you, Michelle. That's very kind. So the ships, again, just to recap, we have some of the ships at a slightly reduced capacity. Some, of course, so that we can spread the staff around. We are working with the State Department to get the visa situation sorted. So those people all over the world, from the Philippines to Indonesia to South Africa, across Europe, from every part of the world. And yes, even Cleveland, Ohio. We can't wait to get them all back to the ship with their visa, ready to enjoy the very best of times, to serve and entertain you, and of course, to provide for their families. And to every single crew member, both working now and to those at home, thank you so much. And to those at home watching this, there is a video coming from Christine very soon with more information about how we're going to help you. And thank you so much to you all. And thank you to all of you for your kindness to the crew.